Urban landscape as VP of operations for a Fortune 500 tech company. She'd just left a contentious board meeting where she'd had to defend her department's budget against three condescending executives who thought a woman couldn't handle a $200 million operation. She was tired, frustrated, and just wanted to get home. That's when she noticed them. Four young men, early 20s, spreading out across the sidewalk ahead of her. They wore dark hoodies and baseball caps, moving with the casual menace of people who knew the streets belonged to them. Amanda's internal alarm went off immediately. She'd grown up in Chicago, knew how to read situations. She changed direction, crossing toward the other side of the street. They changed direction too. "Hey, beautiful, where you going so fast?" the tallest one called out, his voice carrying that edge between playful and threatening. Amanda kept walking, faster now, her heels clicking on the concrete. Her hand gripped her phone in her pocket, thumb ready to dial 911. But there were people around, office workers heading home, a few shoppers, someone walking a dog. Safety in numbers, right? Wrong. The four men closed in, forming a semicircle that forced Amanda to stop. The evening crowd seemed to evaporate, people suddenly finding other directions to walk, other things to look at. Nobody wanted to get involved. "I'm talking to you," the tall one said, stepping closer. His friends laughed, enjoying the show. "That's rude, ignoring people. Didn't your mama teach you manners?" "Leave me alone," Amanda said firmly, her executive voice cutting through despite the fear climbing her throat. "I'm not interested in whatever you're selling." "Oh, she's got attitude," another one laughed, a guy with the baseball cap pulled low. "I like that. Makes it more fun." They were close now, too close. Amanda could smell cigarette smoke and cheap cologne. The tall one reached out like he was going to touch her suit jacket. "Excuse me." The voice was quiet, almost gentle, but it cut through the street noise like a knife. All five of them turned. A man stood a few feet away, hands in the pockets of his worn leather jacket. He was maybe 35, average height, with the kind of face that would disappear in a crowd. Brown hair, tired eyes, a few days of stubble. Nothing remarkable about him at all, except for the way he stood. There was something in his posture, in the absolute stillness of his body, that made Amanda's threat assessment shift immediately. This wasn't a concerned citizen about to get himself hurt trying to be a hero. This was something else entirely. "Walk away," the quiet man said. Not a request, not a threat, just a statement of what was going to happen. The tall guy laughed, his friends joining in. "Or what, old man? You're gonna stop us?" "I don't want to." The quiet man's voice never changed, never rose, never hardened. "I just want to pick up my daughter from her piano lesson in 20 minutes. I'd really prefer not to be late." There was something surreal about the statement, about the complete disconnect between the tension of the moment and this man casually mentioning piano lessons. It threw the gang off balance. "You lost, man?" Baseball cap stepped forward. "This ain't your business." "It is now." The quiet man took his hands out of his pockets, and Amanda saw something in his eyes change. "Last chance. Walk away. Nobody gets hurt. Nobody calls the police. Nobody's mother gets a phone call about hospital bills." The tall leader's face darkened. "You threatening us?" "No." The quiet man's voice was still soft. "I'm giving you information so you can make an informed decision. In about 5 seconds, if you're still standing here, I'm going to make you leave. It won't be pleasant, it won't be fair, and you're going to wish you'd listened." For a moment, nobody moved. The street seemed to hold its breath. Then the tall guy made his move, throwing a fast punch that would have connected with the quiet man's face if the quiet man had been there when it arrived. What happened next took maybe 7 seconds, but Amanda would remember it frame by frame for the rest of her life. The quiet man moved like water, like he already seen the punch coming before it was thrown.
He slipped inside the tall guy's guard, his hand moving in a precise strike to a pressure point on the neck. The leader dropped like someone had cut his strings. Baseball cap rushed in from the side. The quiet man pivoted, a movement so economical it barely looked like movement at all, caught the rushing attacker's momentum and used it to send him face first into a nearby mailbox with a metallic clang. The third guy pulled out a knife. "Don't," the quiet man said, his voice still quiet, still gentle. The guy with the knife hesitated, suddenly realizing he was holding a blade on someone who'd just dropped 2 of his friends in under 3 seconds. The fourth member of the group had already backed up, hands raised, wanting no part of whatever this was. "Put it down," the quiet man continued. "Put it down, help your friends up, and walk away."
Nobody calls the cops. Nobody presses charges. You all go home tonight. The knife clattered to the sidewalk. "Smart," the quiet man said. He looked at the fourth guy, the one who'd stayed back. "You help them up, then go." It took maybe 30 seconds for the 4 young men to gather themselves and disappear into the urban landscape, moving fast, looking back over their shoulders like they expected the quiet man to follow. He didn't. He just stood there, breathing normally, like he'd done nothing more strenuous than tie his shoes. Then he turned to Amanda. "You okay, ma'am?" Amanda realized she was shaking, adrenaline flooding her system. Yes, thank you. What the hell was that?" The quiet man allowed himself a small smile. "That was me being late to pick up my daughter." He checked his watch. 17 minutes now. "You're military," Amanda said. It wasn't a question. She'd seen enough action movies, enough documentaries. Special Forces was long time ago. He started to turn away. "You should probably take a different route home." "Wait." Amanda grabbed his arm, then immediately let go, suddenly aware she'd just touched someone who'd neutralized 4 attackers in seconds. "I'm sorry, I need to know your name. I need to thank you properly." The man hesitated. "James Mitchell." "Amanda Harrison." She pulled out a business card with trembling fingers. "Please, I owe you. At least let me buy you coffee or, I don't know, there has to be something." James took the card, studied it. "VP of Operations. Impressive. Not as impressive as what you just did. What I did was apply overwhelming force to a low-level threat." James pocketed the card. "What you do probably requires a lot more skill." "I doubt that." "Don't." James looked at her directly. "You were already handling it. Your body language, your voice, the way you positioned yourself near the streetlight where cameras could see. You know more than you think. You would have been fine." "I would have been mugged." "I would have been mugged, or worse maybe, but you would have survived, and you would have pressed charges and identified them and made their lives difficult. They're stupid, but they'd have figured that out eventually." James checked his watch again. "I really do need to go. Your daughter's lucky to have you." Something flickered across James's face. Pain, pride, exhaustion. "I'm the lucky one. She's the only thing that kept me sane after I got back from Afghanistan. After her mom." He stopped. "Sorry, TMI, as the kids say." "No, it's—" Amanda wanted to know more, wanted to understand this quiet man who moved like smoke and fought like thunder. "Please, call me. That card has my direct line." James nodded and walked away, his gait easy, unhurried, like he hadn't just taken down 4 guys without breaking a sweat. Amanda stood there for a long moment, then called an Uber. She wasn't walking home tonight. 3 days later, Amanda was surprised when her assistant buzzed her office. "Miss Harrison, there's a James Mitchell here to see you. He doesn't have an appointment, but he says you know him." Amanda's heart jumped. "Send him in immediately." James entered her corner office, looking uncomfortable in the corporate setting, wearing clean jeans and a button-down shirt. In his hand was a small gift bag. "James, I'm so glad you came." "I probably shouldn't have." James held out the bag. "My daughter, Emma, made you something when I told her what happened. She insisted. She's 9 and believes very strongly in thank you cards." Amanda opened the bag to find a hand-drawn card with butterflies and flowers. Inside, in careful cursive, it read, "Thank you for being brave. My daddy says you are very strong. Love, Emma Mitchell." Amanda felt tears sting her eyes.
This is the sweetest thing anyone's ever given me." "She's a good kid." James's voice was soft with pride. "Better than I deserve." "I doubt that." Amanda set the card carefully on her desk. "James, I've been thinking about what you said, about me handling the situation. But the truth is, I was terrified. I've spent my whole career fighting men in suits who underestimate me. But street violence? That's different." "Shouldn't be," James said. "Same principles. Assess the threat, don't show fear, find allies, create an exit strategy. You already know how to do this in your world." An idea was forming in Amanda's mind. "What do you do for work, James?" "I'm a security consultant, mostly residential installations, some corporate risk assessment." "Are you good at it?" James smiled slightly. "I haven't lost a client yet." Amanda made a decision. "My company is expanding into 3 new international markets, Sao Paulo, Lagos, and Mumbai, all high-risk cities for American executives. We need someone to train our people on personal security, threat assessment, crisis response, someone who actually knows what they're doing, not just someone who read a manual." James stared at her. "You're offering me a job?" "I'm offering you a contract, 6 figures for 6 months, train 50 executives, make them survivors." Amanda leaned forward. "You said I would have been fine. Make sure that's actually true next time." "I have a daughter. I can't travel." "No travel. You train here. We bring the executives to Chicago." Amanda slid a folder across her desk. "I had my legal team draw this up yesterday, just in case you called." James opened the folder, his eyes widening at the compensation package. This is too much." "No, it's exactly right." Amanda stood up, extending her hand. "You saved my life, James. Let me save a few lives too, through you." James looked at the contract, then at the hand-drawn card from his daughter, then at Amanda's determined face. Slowly, he smiled, really smiled, for the first time since she'd met him. "Emma's gonna need new piano lessons anyway. The good teacher is expensive." "Not anymore, she's not." They shook hands. 6 months later, Amanda's security program became the model for the entire industry. James trained not just her executives, but started a program for at-risk professionals across multiple companies. Emma got her advanced piano lessons and started talking about Juilliard. And Amanda never walked alone at night without hearing James's quiet voice in her head. "You already know how to do this. You're stronger than you think." Sometimes heroes are loud, dramatic, obvious. Sometimes they're quiet single dads in worn leather jackets running late to pick up their daughters who change your life in 7 seconds and a handshake. The end.